This is your announcer, Shannon Saint Mainframe, welcoming you to our IPA Livecast. New Yorkers were freaking out because they thought they experienced an earthquake yesterday. It wasn't an earthquake. Vince Neil was just drunk, driving his Zamboni through New York and bumped into a few buildings. Get over it, guys. Our IPA Livecast starts now.
Oh no! Watch out for the Zamboni.
Yes. Rampaging
Welcome.
Zambonis all over New York.
Are there like an influx of Zambonis, an overproduction? Has that ever happened? Too many
What-
Zambonis?
Like
An
not
invasion?
Not enough NHL arenas to go around.
That'll be a fun hockey horror movie.
Yes. Or a Hari movie.
A Hari.
Kiri.
A hockey horror movie starring Hari Krishnas, imagine. Really get all the demos in there.
Greenlight it.
We're brainstorming movie ideas. It's Saturday morning. Welcome to RIP Livecast. It's Rob here with Sid and 3D devious Darren Delgado.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And we are pleased to be here with you on a Saturday. We're live Saturday mornings, 11-ish Eastern, and till about 12:30 Eastern. You could watch us on YouTube, on Twitch, or download the archive wherever you listen to podcasts. Of course, you can always hang out with us on Discord, our 24/7 chat room with us and fellow Livecasters. Go to riplivecast.com for the link. And if you ever want to send us feedback, please let us know. Shoot us an email at riplivecast@gmail.com or follow us on social media at riplivecast. Is that everything? Is that most of it?
For now, I think that's probably good.
We'll do another round of plugs later.
Yeah.
Did you two survive the earthquake? Are your places of residence okay?
Well, of all the people I spoke to, I feel like I experienced it the worst. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, that was weird," or like that. My apartment was shaking back and forth.
Same.
Oh, I never discussed it with Sid, but yeah.
Yeah.
My cat was freaking the fuck out. My cat ran under the bed immediately, wouldn't come out for like 20 minutes. And then when he came out, he was all shook and like trying. My cat is not the most affectionate cat. He was like rubbing up on me and like trying to, very wide eyes and very scared. So it was scary. It was like, I'm not going to say it was like a 9.0 earthquake. Our LA listeners are fucking cracking up right now.
Yeah, they're
Well,
rolling.
let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad did it feel for you guys?
Like 6. It felt like if it got any worse than that, it would be dangerous. It wasn't like, I was like, oh shit, what do? I better get out of the house or anything like that. That would be the next step. But it wasn't pleasant. It was like it was very shaky and uncomfortable.
I had I don't know if this was mental or physical, but I felt like car sick for like the next couple of hours after it happened.
I can see that. Yeah,
it was fucking weird. And because I live near a military base, so sometimes they'll have like vehicles or like massive like transport helicopters fly through, and it shakes the apartment for like a second or two. So at first I thought that's what was happening, but then it didn't stop.
Yeah, it was like 20 to 30 seconds for me.
I see. So you're saying this wasn't an earthquake; it's really some sort of government conspiracy from the army base by your.
I mean, isn't everything?
Yeah. The earthquakes, Rob.
At this point, I wouldn't put it past them.
It could be both, Rob. It could be that they engineered an earthquake. You ever think of that?
You're right. They one of their experiments went awry, setting the earthquake. I was in not to brag, but I was in jiu-jitsu class. I was in the middle of a spar, and it was pretty funny because at the end of the round, the bell rang because it's timed rounds, and our coach stands up and was like, "Yeah, there was just an earthquake." And we were like, "What? Really?" We were just like rolling around. And he was like, "Yeah, it wasn't that bad, but I felt it." It was like, oh.
By the way, not to go off the earthquake for a second, because I do have a couple more things to say about it. But because you mentioned BJJ, I just wanted to say Rob posted a picture where he looks like Tank Abbott now.
What?
A big, like, beefy guy with definition. He posted a shirtless pic somewhere.
Ooh, show it. Share it on right now, Rob.
He said body by BJJ, and he's got he's still like a heavy guy, but like with with like cuts now. He's got cuts.
You're damn right.
But
It was definitely.
And it's
it was
not that
after
weird
class.
like fat sculpting thing that people are doing now, that plastic surgery to give you the fake six pack.
I can't speak to that aspect of it.
Like I said, body by BJJ, Sid.
I was very impressed. It came out because I don't track Rob's body progress. So the last time I saw him without a shirt on was probably like 2 months ago when he whipped it out on the show. Maybe more than that. He took his shirt off, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I did see progress then too, I will say, but this was like another jump. Just pulling that up.
Yeah,
now.
baby. Hold on.
It's gonna whip it out.
Those twinks don't know what they're getting into.
Oh no!
Just you got it. Oh, now I need some more.
Yeah,
time.
I got it. Here we go.
Oh.
Need one more second.
Oh, okay. 5 seconds.
Okay, here it is. Is the right one? Yeah, here we go.
You son of a bitch!
Yeah, look at all that definition.
How do I look at me? Look at that. I look great.
I could see you going down the Ron Jeremy path if you let yourself go.
Oh no!
I can't believe I still have
He would have your body
different,
type.
so many different shares here. Saves.
The Muda. I remember how did we get onto Muda during
I
that?
don't even remember. What is going on? No. But here's the actual photo.
Put another Ron Jeremy. Oh, there it is. There we go. Look at that.
Oh, you know what?
I have.
This is very disturbingly similar to the shirtless Geraldo Rivera picture from a few years ago. Rob,
Let me pull that up. But yeah, this was at the end of a class. I just had a good pump going, and it was like
Good
very
pump?
steamy. Yeah,
that's the episode title, by the way.
And then after
Sure.
class, you had a good pump
that's
going.
it's a phrase. It's a phrase. Get over it.
Sid doesn't know how we.
And
body.
I was in the changing room, and everybody left the changing room, and I was in the middle of changing, and I, in my periphery, caught a glance of myself, and I was like,
Oh,
"Whoa, that's me!" I was like, "Hold on, I look like this," and it was like the first time that I was like, "I need to document this."
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
This is Rob seeing
Yeah,
himself.
Look, I have an ab. I have one ab. That's huge. It's a huge ab.
Good for you. Happy for you.
Congratulations, Robert.
So back to the earthquake though. And we mentioned like the LA people making fun of us, which is fair, because they have this type of shit every Tuesday. But there is one aspect of it that's different, and you have to acknowledge it. And that's none of our fucking buildings are built to sustain any of this shit. So
Exactly what I thought when it happened.
like one slightly less mild earthquake than that can knock all of our fucking buildings down. So don't laugh too hard because we may be under rubble from something that you might think is a very mild earthquake.
You're right. That's exactly what I thought. Like, my building's old.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the fuck had happened. Thought I'd be on the sidewalk in a second.
Yeah. My building was built in 1930, I think.
Okay, that's even older than mine.
It's crazy. Pre-Hitler.
Well, he was around.
Yeah.
It was like the demo tape era of Hitler.
He was still painting.
Yeah, he was workshopping it all. Did you feel the aftershock when that happened? It's like
No.
6 o'clock.
Nope.
Yeah,
I was
felt
in the
that.
middle of working. I don't know. Maybe I was
Okay.
just distracted, but I didn't feel anything.
Yeah, I felt that too. It was only like 2 or 3 seconds.
And I heard that was a 4.0.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was 4.8 was the main one.
Yeah.
In case you're wondering, for posterity. Which I know people, again, are snickering in places where they have real earthquakes, but I felt it.
Yeah.
It was scary.
Always something going on here. Never a dull moment.
Well, speaking of scary,
Oh, yes. See, right? Even
I
down
don't-
to like the
I
foggy
don't see
mirror reflection.
I didn't need to see his cum gutters. That's if you showed a shirtless pic, I wouldn't quarrel with it. But why do I got to see that?
It's not foggy. It's just blurry because he can't. Like he took the photo and his hand is shaking as he takes it.
Oh,
But you see, Rob, if you exercise for 30 more years, this is where you'll end up.
Sure, I'll take it.
you take that handlebar mustache
Man,
too.
all these
Oh.
titties.
He's zooming in on his nipples. Come on,
Oh,
Rob.
There we
This
go,
is,
baby.
this is gratuitous.
Narcissism cast.
Woo!
I think there was an
All right.
earthquake during that Geraldo shot. That's why.
Real one. Rob, would you masturbate to a picture of yourself?
No, please. He's done that. He's done
What?
He's doing it right now.
What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
you used to always jerk off to that picture of you in that mesh top, like what were you when it's Danzig for Halloween? That was your go-to.
I didn't even know what you were talking about until
Me
you got
too.
into
Oh, I
it.
mean,
Good stuff.
I guess you could say it's good stuff. It's WrestleMania week,
sure is.
and
WrestleMania 40.
WrestleMania 40, which is pretty crazy.
Wow.
Darren, you were at the very first WrestleMania.
I sure did.
So how does it feel? What are your memories 40 years later?
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's very fuzzy. Like, I remember. I know for a fact that I was there. I don't remember me being in the arena as much. I mean, it's 40 years ago. There's a lot of things I don't really like. Things that I know that I did, and I vaguely remember the experience, but I can't place myself there. But I know I was very excited. My mother used to take me to MSG basically every month, almost every month, with some exceptions.
For wrestling or just
for wrestling,
whatever. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like wrestling brought out in the audience. When I would go to house shows, my mom took me a few times to the untelevised events with all the stars, and I really found a lot of times that the fun was the people around me, like the marks. Like, you know, I was 10 years old, but there would be like a 35-year-old Mark, a super fan, next to me, and he would be rooting for the heels. I have this very vivid memory, and I remember being so outraged. Like, how could you? What are you talking about? You got to root for Hulk Hogan. How could you be rooting for the Iron Sheik?
Right.
And he's like, no, Hulk Hogan is terrible. And like, I remember getting into an argument with this. Darren, maybe it was you. Maybe he wasn't 35.
No.
Maybe he was just. Maybe he was like I was 10 and you were 20, and it was us.
That's actually plausible. I would argue with kids sometimes, but I jokingly, like, I wouldn't be like, "You're a fucking idiot, you dumb Mark." I would be like,
Yeah, no, it was very much a good fun. Yeah.
But I will say, I remember the time that I crossed the Rubicon and started rooting for heels. The first heel that I loved was Ted DiBiase. Just because I was very much, as a young kid, into
You were a Trumper.
Yeah.
What?
I was into I was a big fan of his real estate deals and no, what? Yeah, The Art of the Deal. I read it cover to cover when I was 7. No, I don't know. When Ted DiBiase debuted, this was the first, like, I think Rob would agree with this. Would you? He was the first heel in WWE that was prominent, that was a great wrestler. I feel like maybe Randy Savage, but Ted DiBiase was on another, like, technical level, and I thought that was so weird, and I thought that was not allowed. I thought the heels had to be like, you know, fucking Kamala or whatever. And he was just a great wrestler. I loved his matches, and then the fact that he was
familiar with him before WWF.
Like, hearing his name vaguely. That was before I had started, like, getting into other federations and, you know, seriously, like, knowing all about that stuff and trading tapes and all that shit. So I knew of him. I didn't know of his oeuvre, like his body of work. But like, when he showed up, oh my God, I was like, this guy. And then I was like, oh, maybe, you know, there's an interesting, wouldn't formulate it in this way. This is my adult brain, but like, maybe there's something interesting to, like, the heel dynamic of like, you know, what's their motivation? Like maybe there's a story here instead of just like bad guy, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He made me really, really start to look at the heels in a different way. He's still one of my. He's turned out to be a born again Christian weirdo, so it's kind of a bummer.
Well,
but...
and also a welfare scammer.
Right.
Yeah,
I forgot
that's
about
right.
that.
He's the
And
ultimate welfare queen.
Was that with Brett Favre or something? Well, he had something going on with Brett Favre.
Yeah, they both stole from the state welfare fund for.
Has that been resolved yet, or is that trial still pending? Is there going to be a trial?
I believe one of his sons is in jail for it.
Oh wow!
But did Brett Favre face any punishment? Did DiBiase himself face any punishment?
I'd have to look it up.
Did he ever send any peen pics like Brett Favre, or was that just Brett doing that? That wasn't part of the scam, right? Sadly, you want to see the DiBiase cock?
Ted DiBiase Jr. I wouldn't mind seeing some of his.
Oh, do you find him attractive? See, again, this is where your expertise comes in handy, because I would, in my hetero brain, I would look at Ted DiBiase Jr. He looks like a totally nondescript, like not ugly or anything, but just not remarkable. Like that guy's hot, you know. What is it that you like about him? Oh, just handsome.
Handsome guy, good body.
Man. Better than yours?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
I don't see him posting no BJ.
Yeah,
in the mirror. Maybe
Favre got fined mostly. That was his punishment, and he still owes $700,000 in unpaid fines.
Oh. And Ted DiBiase Jr. got fined.
Let's see. What else? Wait, what were we? How did we get on? Oh, you were talking about heels. I was like, how did we get? Were you a Ric Flair fan at the time, or were you familiar with Ric Flair before Ted DiBiase?
That was before like other federations were on my radar, so I would just hear people talking about Ric Flair because these other scumbags at my school would have cable, and I didn't have cable, so they would be watching NWA and stuff, and I would just like I don't know. I would call these wrestling hotlines like Coach Kurt, although I don't know if that one was around yet when I was that young, but there were other ones, and I would call and I would just be so excited to hear results of other things that happened elsewhere. And I would read PWI and I would see still photos of Ric Flair and think like, this guy's awesome. But I had never seen a match when I was real young. So I couldn't be like, I'm a Ric Flair fan, but I was like anxious to see this guy wrestle, you know.
Who knew you'd have like another 35 years to catch up?
Right.
Wrestling.
Probably going to have another match eventually.
Oh my God.
And now you can watch all of it.
I was going to say maybe we should watch that match on a Patreon episode.
Oh man.
That last Ric Flair match. It's so bad. I'd watch it again. It's so horrible.
It's very
and it's not a bad match. It's like everything other than Ric Flair involved in the match is pretty well done, I would say. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Jay Lethal's in it. It's like
good
wrestlers.
Everyone performed to their best ability except for Ric Flair. Except for the
on TV, I think what was this for?
Oh. Pay-per-view. They like an independent pay-per-view.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Just booked one card.
It was
not
done
even
like the weekend of a big SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So they just kind of piggybacked off of it.
Okay.
And they did draw a huge crowd. I believe it was one of the largest independent crowds in like history.
Where was it?
Just Nashville, I want to say.
Okay.
I remember Rob telling me the rest of that card was really good, and I didn't watch any of it. I just watched the Ric Flair.
Yeah, it ended up kind of being this sort of super card of all the independent promotions because it's like, sure, like send us a match, and there was a convention around it, so there were all these guys that were like really the top of the line of independent wrestling, putting on great matches, and then the main event was just an embarrassment.
But on the other hand, like they wouldn't have been attracting all those people to see all these young superstars,
right?
Like
agreed.
Without Ric Flair there, killing himself.
That's certainly the catch-22.
But Rob, you said they all wrestled to the best of their ability except Ric Flair. I think he did too. He just
he
doesn't have any more
that's a fair
ability.
point.
Yeah.
So do you what is the earliest WrestleMania memory you remember, Darren? Because you went to the first.
No, I mean
few
I remember
consecutively, right?
WrestleMania 1. I remember WrestleMania 1, but I remember isolated snippets and you know how you have thoughts that kind of old thoughts, and you're not as old as me, so maybe 30 years ago it doesn't really work as it does when it's 40 years ago. But yeah, I can see in my mind right now Tito Santana coming out and doing I could see it from my seat, the perspective, and I could I remember snippets of things, but I don't really remember. I can't say I remember a full match playing out before me.
What did you have for lunch that day?
All right.
No.
Did you get to see Liberace up close?
I wouldn't have known who Liberace was back then. I don't think. Maybe. Yeah. No, not up close.
Stars in the world.
I wasn't that close.
Andy Warhol, he was there, right?
Yeah. Was he?
I think so.
Oh no, I don't think he was at WrestleMania.
No?
He was at a different event. He was at one of those MTV events.
He was at the Showboat to see an AWA house show.
My most vivid memory is of Randy Savage winning the championship, and I was probably, I don't know, 20 rows away from the ring.
Okay, so WrestleMania 4 you remember much clearer.
I just feel there's some kind of switch happened, and I was maybe more closer to being an adult, and my memories are much more vivid. But yeah, and I remember being so excited about that WrestleMania because the second Hulk Hogan lost, he had that double DQ with Andre the Giant, remember? In one of those rounds or whatever. It was a tournament.
Yes, it was in the second round of the tournament.
They got a bye
in the first. Yes.
So once he was out, I was like, someone else is going to be the champion. This is fucking amazing. This is amazing. For the
first time in WrestleMania history,
right?
Hogan wasn't going to be champion,
and it was me and my mother and these two kids from my junior high school went to that together. My mother agreed to take these two kids, and we were all looking around we all thought Hulk Hogan was just going to win this tournament because he just wins all the time.
Yeah,
and then he was out. I was like, what the fuck?
It's the first time in life you realized anything was possible.
Yeah. And did you know Ted DiBiase was supposed to win that? That was the original booking.
And then what changed?
I think the Honky Tonk Man refused to lose the Intercontinental title to Randy Savage, and they just swerved it and then put Randy Savage to win the world title.
Wow. Yeah. What a huge favor Honky Tonk Man did without even realizing it. Jeez.
But that could all, I mean, that's what I've read on the internet. Who the fuck knows if that's verified? But that's the prevailing theory, I think.
Oh, speaking of Randy Savage, this is just an aside, but I mentioned this to Rob earlier. Earlier in the week, I went to see a live show of I Think You Should Leave at the Beacon Theater Manhattan. And there was a guy in the audience who looked exactly like Randy Savage and was wearing a Macho Man t-shirt.
No.
And his mannerisms were also exactly like Randy Savage, to the point that I thought it must be like a bit that they're doing for the show. And at some point he's going to come out of the audience and go up on stage or something. But no, he's just a weirdo that was there who's in Randy Savage cosplay for some reason.
What if it's a Tupac situation where this is Randy Savage is still alive? I guess his hair would be white.
This guy was like a mid-30s Randy Savage.
Okay. Different eras, Macho Man. Okay.
Wow.
Just had to share that.
Well,
it was very bizarre.
It's interesting, Darren, you had that experience at 14, because I have a very vivid memory of WrestleMania 14 when I was 14, because WrestleMania and myself, as we've established on the show, are the same numerical age. I'm a few months older, I would say, than WrestleMania, in a year, I guess.
You
really
were born the year of no. Wait.
Well, I was born in 83 and WrestleMania 1 was in 85. So after I had turned 1 in 84,
right. I see.
It would be the first WrestleMania.
And you hadn't had your birthday yet in 85.
Right.
Right, exactly. My birthday was 6 months away at that point. So the numbers always line up for me.
Is that how you remember how old you are?
That is a good way to contextualize, because it's like, oh, well, what am I like when Darren was like, oh, I don't have that many memories of a WrestleMania, and I asked myself, like, do I have memories of when I was 10? And then so I could ask myself, like, what did I do when I was 10? And then he'd be like, okay, what happened at WrestleMania 10? I was like, okay, yeah, no, I definitely have memories of that. And then yes, my whole life revolves around wrestling, Sid, basically. But 14 was a really like, I really remember where I was in life when I was watching it.
Okay, so paint the picture.
It was okay. So I do remember that I was making websites at this point. This is when I was 14. Because
child prodigy, you're like young Sheldon.
Fun. It was fun, and I believe I was teaming up with these two other webmasters. Probably these other 14-year-olds who I've never met. And we were going to launch our new website, allwrestling.com, around WrestleMania 14. And I was on the playground hanging out, as I would any Sunday afternoon. And the sun was setting, and it was about to be time for the event to begin. And I remember heading home, and my parents weren't home, and I was locked out.
You didn't have keys?
No, I did not have keys, because my mother, and this is really kind of, if you think about it, this is kind of crazy. I would be allowed to leave on my own, right? Like go to the playground, or really do whatever like I could have gone into Manhattan. She wouldn't have known. My parents would have known, right? I guess I didn't have that. I didn't have a lot of cash in order to pay for But anyway, but I wouldn't be able to come back unless they were home, because I didn't have the key to both locks. I didn't have the key to the padlock, just the top, because here we go. My mom was worried that I was so careless that I would lose my house keys, and she wouldn't want to have to replace this expensive padlock.
So she'd rather you get murdered on the street without being able to go.
Isn't that it really is backwards? Yeah, what?
Then spend $7.
I've never considered how ridiculous the policy was until this very moment.
Though I understand her wanting to protect herself from your carelessness. That part I understand, but I just feel like there must have been a better way.
I've never ever lost my house keys. Actually, that's another thing I was just thinking about. Now that I've said it out loud, but anywho, so I was locked out, and I was like, oh shit, what the fuck? I can't do that. Like, these people that I don't know are going to be so upset at me. And by the way, they totally didn't believe that I was locked. They were like, you're just a lazy bum. And I was like, no, I promise you, I'm not. I promise. I really wanted to do this. I just could not get. So I promise. And then, so beyond that, then I was like, wait a minute, I'm not going to be able to watch this show. That was even more upsetting, because this was the crowning show of Stone Cold Steve Austin, where he was going to finally beat Shawn Michaels and become world champion. And I just recall walking on the boardwalk, because I, of course, live by the boardwalk. And then when I got on Brighton First, there's a apartment building where the first floor had terraces that faced the boardwalk. And I could see, and I knew somebody that lived in one of those apartments, and I could see that they were actually having a gathering for WrestleMania, and my friends were there.
And they didn't invite you?
Well, I had plans. I was going to be working. I had already knew. I may have already known that they had this gathering, because this was no. But then they saw me. They were like, Rob, get up here. And I remember climbing from the boardwalk. Wow. Essentially, trespassing, but they allowed me, into this guy's property, and just climbed over and just hung out. Yeah, I guess I could have walked around, but that would have been so much work. And it was so much more fun to watch WrestleMania with a crowd of people, like with my buddies, and then we were 14, and then this guy was like, I don't know, late 20s, 30s. And my friend's parents were there. It was just a multi-generational, but this was an American guy. So it was all American dudes. And then me and like a few other Russian kids who are just.
So you
friends
admit
of
you're not
his
American.
Wow!
You son
Finally
of a
got
bitch. I pledge my allegiance to the Soviet Union.
I knew it.
But yeah, so that was a really fun memory for me of watching that and watching Austin win the title with like a crew of people. WrestleMania is a fun show to do in with people, with a few folks, I feel.
So what ended up happening with allwrestling.com?
We just launched it the next day or whatever, but it did end up launching and lasting for a little bit.
How did it go?
It went all right until I think because it wasn't something I was I just clashed with these other 14-year-olds, and eventually I siphoned off and started my own proprietary website, as we've discussed before, the award-winning wrestlingarena.com.
I thought it was .net.
No.
Did they not want a Babe of the Day, and you just insisted? You put your foot down, and that's what split you up?
This was before Babe of the Day, but I do remember Babe of the Day was a thing on wrestling websites. Like, I did not invent Babe of the Day. I stole it from some other website for sure.
Oh,
because it's like there wasn't that much wrestling news, and you needed excuses. You needed to give people an excuse to come back to your website every day. It wasn't like you had Facebook to share links. The only way to get traffic, actually, funny enough, would be to work for free for other websites and submit news to them, aggregated news. And then at the end of the article, you can link back to your website. And this is like before clickbait was even a term. You would just create the most clickbaity link, like kind of like Gene Okerlund with the WCW hotline of like, this former WWF superstar just fell in a hole. Like, who are we talking about? Like something like that, something silly like that. But the reason that I bring this up is because there was some wrestling news that didn't quite involve WrestleMania this week, and it is that Vince McMahon revealed he's finally pushing back on this lawsuit against from Janelle Grant, saying that he did all these terrible things to her, and what can you give, like, what do you guys remember? What's like a summary of some of the messed up things he did?
He pooped on her.
Pooped on her is absolutely one of the more not good things that he did.
He sent her to like fuck other guys or something, right? Or have three-ways.
Didn't he force her to take pictures of herself pissing and then send it to wrestlers or something?
That sounds
actually
familiar.
That was actually Brock Lesnar that requested that. Yes, he tried to pimp her out to Brock Lesnar.
Oh, that was the enticement for Brock Lesnar to fuck her or whatever. Was
to like re-sign or something like that.
To re-sign with the company?
Yeah, like if he re-signed, one of the perks would be that he got to have sex with Vince's girlfriend.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This was all during the contract negotiation.
That's hilarious. I mean, not hilarious. It's shocking. Hilarious.
It's shocking that that would need to be a perk. Like, does he have that much trouble getting laid?
Yeah.
Like, why is this something that he would care about?
Married to Sable.
No, I think it's more like Vince is like, look at this conquest that I have. Like, I want you to fuck her. I want you to. Well, I think he's obsessed with Brock Lesnar. There was a thing where he essentially suggested that, like, he had a big dildo and he named it Brock. Like, that's the implication. So
did he use it on himself or on others?
On her. He used it on her.
Okay.
That we know of.
Or yeah.
Well,
like,
Brock
exactly.
does also rhyme with cock. So.
Cock Lesnar.
Yeah.
I wonder if he did. Do you think he names all his dildos?
Yeah. How many dildos? Do you think he has like a dildo room, like a walk-in closet?
Yes,
with
that was in the
dildos?
thing that he had various toys that he used on her. Yes.
Do you think that he has a 4-inch dildo that he calls Gilbert?
It's a butt plug.
Yeah. Oh.
Is Gilbert still alive?
Yes,
who else
he
to
is.
humiliate?
Dwayne
He has
Gill.
another little butt plug called Terry Taylor.
Oh,
It's red.
poor Terry. Well, he's not that poor.
Well, he was kind of a dickhead too, right?
I believe
abuse people
a
at
racist,
WCW.
allegedly.
Lord Little Plug. Does he have one of those?
I love that guy. It's my little buddy.
He wears it during his depositions. Keep focused. Plugs himself.
So,
by the way, I did remember something from WrestleMania 2. Actually, I remember, and that was the worst one. That was, and also it was only like 4 matches. I feel like
There was a There was a battle royal, right? And Hogan.
Well, it was from 3 locations, so you only saw a few matches live, and the rest are watching.
Right, and we had the worst matches. It was like Paul Orndorff, and he was against who the fuck was he against? Don Morocco, maybe.
Oh my god.
But the one really awesome match was Macho Man against George Steele.
That
was always fun.
I
probably had seen that at MSG before already, but
you are correct. The matches that you saw were Paul Orndorff versus the Magnificent Morocco with Mr. Fuji, ending in a double countout. How exciting!
Oh my god!
I didn't even remember that.
Oof.
Randy Savage against George Steele for the Intercontinental title, 5 minutes.
Really, I wouldn't have guessed that. I was just playing the match back in my head, and I was like, I remember maybe the entrances made it seem longer. Randy Savage coming out.
What's so funny is the Paul Orndorff match was 4 minutes 10. The Macho Man match was 5 minutes 10, so it was 1 minute longer than that previous match. But I bet that previous match felt much longer.
Yeah, how can? To be honest with you, I can't remember a second of the Paul Orndorff match.
Yeah, I don't remember it at all. And WrestleMania 2, I watched so many times.
No, I was there.
Yeah, Jake Roberts defeated George Wells, which I remember very. This was like Jake Roberts' big debut, where he put the snake on, and George Wells was foaming at the mouth.
Yeah, which I did.
George Wells. I don't remember that name at all. Okay,
black guy, random jobber.
Wow.
And then the brutal boxing match.
Oh yeah,
Mr. T and Roddy Piper.
Yeah, God. I remember being very bored and wanting to go home during that. And I liked
all the fun stuff was definitely in Chicago and LA, but
that wasn't that much fun stuff there either. But what was fun was there. I like that Hogan and Bundy match, to be honest with you. It's good big guy mad brawler match. It's not like technical classic, but it's a fun match. They both.
How were your seats for WrestleMania 3? Do you have any?
Terrible in the rafters. It's pointless to even be there, but it's still exciting and be a part of history and all that. Yeah, I might as well have been watching like pinpricks. Like you couldn't see shit, and that was
it's not like
the biggest gate that you. And I remember when like Hacksaw Jim Duggan comes out during that match, the Killer Bees match, I think it was. That's WrestleMania 3, and there was a guy like, fucking just going nuts for Hacksaw Jim Duggan. 97 miles away from everything. This guy's freaking the fuck out. Incredible. WrestleMania 4 was the first one I had like amazing seats for.
Where was that one?
That was in Atlantic City, Trump Plaza. And WrestleMania 5 was also in Trump Plaza.
Which was the outdoor one?
There was a few of them now, but 9 was the first one. Then it was raining, right? That part of it. And Joe had JR in a toga. I didn't go to that.
God, yeah, that was.
I didn't go to 7, 8, 9. I was like checked out of wrestling at that point, more or less. Like I would check in on it every now and then. WrestleMania 6, and now I look back, it's a horrible WrestleMania, but that was probably my favorite at the time experiencing it. Like, I just really liked Ultimate Warrior. I'm embarrassed to say now. But
Listen, it was for the age we were all in, the age range, it worked. If we were in our 30s at the time, no.
I was 16. I mean, I feel like
even still, come on, that's fine. Raging hormones, you're going through all. You felt like on the inside, you felt like an Ultimate Warrior.
He was my id.
Yeah. It makes sense.
I was at SummerSlam when he beat the Honky Tonk Man too, in like 30 seconds, which was crazy. Honky Tonk Man was and I had terrible seats for that too. Honky Tonk Man was the like longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time, and he just, bring somebody out from the back, I'll beat his ass, and then Ultimate Warrior comes out and beats him in like 8 seconds. It was very shocking.
I never liked the Honky Tonk Man, which I guess is the point, but I just didn't understand like why he gets that belt for that long. Like,
he was such a dick and like so annoying, and I feel like a good enough wrestler to be, you know what I mean? To pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I loved him. I think it was like after the Ted DiBiase set me on that heel path, and then I was like, yeah, I really fucking dig that. I love it. I used to look around the crowd and be like, look at this reaction this guy's getting.
Maybe that's where my hate for country music comes from.
I refuse to believe that. It's bad on its own merits.
But you got to develop that hate from somewhere, some first exposure to the music.
Fair enough.
So it might have been Honky Tonk Man.
I know in a box somewhere, my mother has pics from like how far up we're in the crowd.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to try to see if I can find it. Was pointless. You wouldn't even know we're at a wrestling show. You could see a ring and it's like, it's like that. She had like a box camera or something, or the disposables, or like, I guess it wouldn't have been disposables yet, right?
Maybe
1987. They have disposable cameras. I don't know.
Maybe.
Well, she had some shitty camera. No, I don't think so, because I think they're in like one of those envelopes that used to get from the photo.
Oh man. Wow.
We're speaking a different language to some of the audience right now.
We're talking about, did the technology of disposable cameras exist yet?
Yeah.
And now it's already stopped.
Well, no, I actually just purchased a disposable camera.
You have it right
sitting there?
Yeah, right there.
Get the fuck out of here. Why do those exist? Where are they selling that?
They sell them at a Rite Aid.
Jesus,
that's crazy.
Do you have a rotary phone within reach, Rob? What else do you have?
No.
Well, now that you showed that, you want to explain what it is?
I have a point
under 40
camera as well. I'm trying to get into analog photography.
For more shirtless pictures from different.
Yeah, exactly.
Analog.
That camera cannot be better than an iPhone camera, can it?
No way.
It's possible.
It's different.
What is
it worse.
It's a different quality of a photo.
Yeah, lower quality. That's different. Yes.
I like the idea of having a physical proof. I mean, certainly you could print out iPhone photos, but this is different. I like this whole. I want to try out this experience.
Okay.
Do you have to get it developed somewhere?
Yeah.
So you just go to like your pharmacy or whatever, and they'll still do that?
There's a photo store like a block away from me.
Why don't you build a dark room too while you're at it?
Oh, no.
Maybe eventually. Maybe if I get into it. You don't know.
Is that thing waterproof? Can you go take pictures of squid at Brighton Beach or?
I believe the disposable camera is waterproof. Actually.
Good. I want some aquatic life photos on your Insta.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the girl Vince McMahon pooped on, and then we completely diverted from that. I don't even know where we were going.
Yes. Okay. So I wanted to read this article.
Put him to poop on. Sorry.
So, the lawsuit is all about how she was coerced. This was a non-consensual relationship. And it seems like Vince McMahon's strategy is to somehow convince people that it in fact was consensual. And one way he's trying to prove it is he's released this love letter that he claims she wrote to him, which her lawyer says she admits that she did write it, but she was, much like with the whole relationship, coerced into it. So let's read this letter. And obviously, New York Post loves posting stuff like this. And even, it really exposes that a lot of people won't even bother to read the article, because the article, by the end of it, I think Vince comes out looking worse than before the article was released. But if you are the type of person that only needs to read the headline, That's it. You're like, oh, there you go. Evidence proves she's just like looking for money here. Vince did nothing wrong. Boom. He's been whatever, some bullshit like that. Anyway, So let's read this article. A woman who alleges she was sexually abused for years by Vince McMahon wrote a gushing love letter to the former WWE CEO in which she declared the duo was in love with a capital L, and she now claims McMahon coerced her to do it, the Post has learned. Janelle Grant, whose bombshell lawsuit landed a day before the wrestling icon abruptly stepped down as executive chairman of WWE parent TKO Group Holdings, penned a lengthy email to McMahon dated December 24th, 2021, in which she called him, quote, my best friend, my love, and my everything. The letter writes, after almost 3 years together, it's like my life isn't even real to me unless you're there and in it, and I'm sharing it all with you, Grant, 43, wrote in the Christmas Eve letter to 78-year-old McMahon, obtained by the Post. Very wordy.
How old is he now, right now? That's just because this is
78.
She wrote this recently?
No, she wrote this in 2021, but this is their ages currently.
Okay.
It's a little confusing writing there. But so didn't he force her to write those though? I thought that was the story.
Well, that's what we're getting to here. Yes. Okay. The love-struck letter stands in contrast to the allegations in her explosive lawsuit filed in Connecticut federal court in January, which claimed McMahon allegedly defecated on Grant's head during a threesome in May 2020, some 18 months before she wrote the alleged love letter. Huh? Oh, so why would she write a love letter after he shat on her? Proposes the Post.
Mm-hmm.
But Grant's attorney, Ann Callis, told the Post that McMahon actually instructed Grant to write the note.
Yeah.
Quote, frankly, it's pretty disgusting that Vince's weeks-late attempt to defend his horrendous behavior he claims to this day never happened, is to try to showcase letters that Vince himself coerced her to write, Callis said. His psychological torture of her continues, as is typical of abusive predators who respond to women speaking out with increased threats. While Janelle isn't a stranger to his intimidation tactics, this is a new low even for him. Asked about the coercion allegations, McMahon's attorney, who, by the way, McMahon hired the firm that was hired by a smaller company, MLW, Major League Wrestling. They hired this firm and sued WWE for unfair business practices, and they won. They won a huge settlement of like $20 million, and McMahon was so impressed that he hired them to represent him. These are big-time attorneys. And so his lawyer notes that this is revisionist history. No one coerced Mrs. Grant to write that letter. She wrote it on her own accord. The fact that the letter shows it was the 24th draft speaks volumes. Does it? Nowhere in her
get it right.
Complaint that is replete with fabrications does she mention being coerced into such behavior. The language of the letter is consistent with other communication she made to Mr. McMahon over the course of the consensual relationship.
In the coerced letter, she doesn't say that the letter's coerced, therefore it isn't coerced.
Right.
Basically.
Well, hold on.
She was supposed to put Morse code dots in there. And say, I'm doing this under duress.
Send a picture of you blinking twice if you're being coerced to write this. Attach it. JPEG.
So the New York Post, for all their faults, did actually do some research here.
Oh, no. Really?
And believe it or not, a spokesperson for Grant revealed that on December 21st, 3 days before sending the letter, Grant texted McMahon that she had surgery on her pointer finger, saying, I think I'm tapping out today. In the alleged text exchange obtained by the Post, which was not included in Grant's lawsuit, but alleged as genuine by a spokesperson for Miss Grant, McMahon responded, damn it, sorry, baby, following it with 2 heart emojis. Grant replied, how will I write your letter? I can type and read it or try to write it in a couple of days. I'm sorry if I messed this up. I want you to have a nice letter. So this is proof that she's being coerced here, that she's saying her fucking finger is broken. She can't type right now, so she can't really write the letter, implying that this is something that he wanted.
Yeah.
Right. I've got a cure for your finger, baby. Come
I
here.
know. Yeah, stick it in there.
Here's
Is that how
where-
she broke the finger?
All those toilet flushes to get rid of all that.
Oh my god.
crap.
Oh. I can't stop. It's so horrible. I can't stop thinking, like, what position was everyone in
Yeah.
when
I
he
got
shit
through
on
that.
her?
I got through that cycle as well.
Was she laying down and he like literally squatted over her face like a toilet bowl, or like
I think
was
she
he
was.
bent
I think
over
so.
and she was eating
Or
his
she might have
ass
been
and
in a
he squirted
doggy
one?
position. I could see
No,
her being in a doggy position.
I think it
Ah,
specified that she was blowing John Laurinaitis while he shit on her. Isn't that?
No,
am I remembering
John
wrong?
Laurinaitis was not in the room. No,
someone
this
else was in the
somebody
room.
else. Yeah, this was an unidentified third party.
But the
So she
person
was-
she was blowing him. I think. Maybe.
so then
blocking
did
it
the
out.
shit get on this other dude also?
Do we need to revisit this, Sid?
I'd
I
like
can't
to-
help it. I've been revisiting it whether we revisit it or not. It's horrible.
I'd like
Well, hold on.
clarification on this issue.
Well, before we do, let me just wrap up with this article.
Okay.
wipe up the
Or if one of you want to look that up while I wipe up this article.
Sid, you want to do it? Or should I do it?
Grant's rep, who
Darren,
asked
you
to
do it.
remain unnamed, also said that Grant had written love letters at McMahon's request so many times that she resorted to padding them with existing material from pop culture, including a GQ interview with Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly published 2 months before Grant's letter. In the GQ piece, for example, author Molly Lambert said of the celebs' relationship, the carnal component is clearly off the charts, but they also can be sweet and funny. Language that was lifted nearly word for word in Grant's letter. Fox and MGK are in love with a capital L, the story also states. Another phrase lifted by Grant. In another passage, Grant wrote, I feel understood, accepted, loved, and appreciated for who I am at my core. You see my heart. You see my soul. There are few people who know the secret of making heaven on earth. You are one of those rare people. Grant's spokesperson said the sugary sweet lines were ripped verbatim from the 1947 film, The Bishop's Wife.
What? What a random pull. Like, was she just Googling love letters or what the hell?
I guess.
This is all so fucking strange. Oh,
That's basically the gist of the article. And then the rest is talking about parts of the lawsuit that we'd already gone over weeks before.
It's all so fucking weird. Is she gonna eventually like have like her own Dark Side of the Ring episode where she's gonna tell all, or no? Is there gonna be like some kind of like settlement where she's like forbidden from like an NDA kind of settlement?
I don't know. Well, there is an NDA. Oh, yeah. I don't know.
But NDAs can be voided if there's some kind of criminality that is being covered up by the NDA.
But I'm saying after the trial, she'll get whatever money, and then there'll be a new NDA.
Oh, I see. Yeah, maybe. I mean, depends what she wants, I guess.
Yeah.
But I found that the part of the complaint here. Miss McMahon also subjected Ms. Grant to acts of extreme cruelty and degradation that caused Ms. Grant to disassociate and or become numb to reality in order to survive the horrific encounters. As one example of McMahon's extreme depravity, on May 9th, 2020, during COVID. Oh my God.
Wow.
He defecated on Ms. Grant during a threesome and then commanded her to continue pleasuring his friend with feces in her hair and running down her back. Man went to the bathroom to shower off. So I was wrong because it says he commanded her to continue pleasuring his friend.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Am I
It
wrong?
could go either way. That
it
could
could
mean
be-
you're blowing him already and keep doing it,
Right.
or proceed to blow him now that I've done this to you.
Yeah, you're probably
yeah, she was
right.
like, oh, what is this? And like, keep going.
I didn't tell you to stop. Oh, I feel bad even doing that. There's sort of a perverse humor in there, but very
So
funny.
he was 74
Yeah.
at the time. And like most 74-year-olds, their like bowel movements are inconsistent at best. Probably like this wasn't like a quick
Right.
bing bang boom. He was probably like straining from
Yeah.
15 minutes just to get one turnout on this poor woman's head.
Oh no!
I bet he was praying for this for weeks. It's like,
no, I think he was just backed up, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta go." Well,
no, I disagree.
I'm not gonna rush.
I poop
think
so
do it right
infrequently,
here.
I've got to do
he
it.
dreamed of shitting on her head during a sex act and just was waiting for the time his rare bowel movement aligned with something he was doing to her. And it finally did. The clouds parted. He had a little nugget, like this Kids in the Hall sketch.
Yes.
That really seems it just seems so cruel to have to keep engaging in sex with the smell of shit around. I can't think of anything worse.
Didn't she have a whole
Well, I guess I can think of
bunch of money at that time? Like, I'm not shaming her or anything, but I mean, like, I just feel like you got something. You know, you could take care of your family now. Like, go run away. Wipe the shit off.
I think she was just like, I'm so deep into it now. I just have to make it a few more weeks, then it'll be over. Like something.
Really?
Like
Why?
He's going to die eventually, right? He's old.
What was going to happen?
Well, she was hoping to get some sort of promotion, or some relocate. You know, like.
But wouldn't she still be working for Vince?
Well, she just wanted to make sure she had like vice president on her LinkedIn to then be able to get that kind of job somewhere else. Like, how could she move on? Where could she go? She would just be as lost.
But if she
broke.
bails on Vince, is she expecting like a really good letter of reference anyway? Like if they call the previous employer,
that was what was weird is that like she kind of treated, well, you know, the way it was written, she treated the employment as somehow earned.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
mean, it is in some way.
That.
The good news is you got promoted. Bad news is your new job getting purple nurpled by John Cena.
I mean, that's better than getting shit on by Vince McMahon.
Yeah,
that's a huge promotion. Fucking take my nipples. Just keep them.
20, that's the thing that stood out. That's the new revelation. That was in 2020. This is during lockdown.
Yeah.
May 2020.
This was at the height of fucking like, stay at home. Don't, you know, keep your germs away from other people. Let me shit on her hair.
Well, maybe she had a mask on then. That could have helped.
She's sucking a dick with a mask on.
Well, you put a hole in the middle.
Right. So maybe everyone else in the room had a mask on except her. Can you imagine like John Laurinaitis or whoever was getting blown there and Vince McMahon like Eiffel Towering with masks on?
Luchador masks? They probably just have a stash of wrestling masks on hand.
Well, Vince is a germaphobe, though. That's the thing. Like we could say, rich Republican guy, don't care about COVID, but Vince is a germaphobe. So he probably he probably had one of those face shields on while he was shitting on her. He probably had a face shield on his asshole.
Oh, Rob, Photoshop that right now.
No.
And make it pop up behind Joe Biden and Jeremy's cock. I'm sorry. I know. I really do respect this woman. I feel bad for her.
I like that. I'm sorry as you play the sound effect. Love it.
Well, Rob, I'm trying to detach myself and just have that be a sound playing.
Yeah, you're disassociating just like she did.
But I just do feel
I'm associating here. I'm associating the sound with the person playing it.
How do you know that wasn't Sid?
That was me actually doing it.
Fair. But it sounds like a fart in a toilet. Yeah, that's more out in the open.
Okay.
Whew.
Is that a better one, Rob?
Thank you. And again, look, if you are into defecating as a sexual act,
shame on you. No,
more power to you. That's fine as long as you find someone who consents to it.
Yeah, that would certainly be better. I don't know about fine. A little cleanup issue.
Look, if both of you are into it and you keep it relatively sanitary as you could with such an act, I'm okay with it. Ultimately, I'm not.
Can I add an asterisk to that though?
Sure.
I agree with you.
Add an asterisk.
I agree with you in principle. It's nothing. Morals are subjective and all that stuff. Google it because there's a lot of things people don't know about shitting and how dangerous it is. There's a lot of dangerous stuff in shit. There's a reason your body expels it. Please do your research. I cannot stress this enough. You do not want shit bacteria in your mouth, in your vagina, and any of your orifices. It's very dangerous.
Eyeballs,
pink eye,
yeah.
nostrils.
Oh, the nostrils. Oh,
I mean, Janelle Grant. Listen, probably something floating around in there. Did you ever listen? I got a question for you guys, tangentially related. My ex-wife, like, you know, when you smell a fart.
Where's this going? Jesus Christ!
No, it's not sexual.
Okay.
You know when you smell a fart and it feels like you still smell it in the room like an hour later or something. She told me, I have never bought this. She told me the whatever chemical sensation causes you to smell something, it stays in your nose hairs. Like it gets trapped in your passageway. And if you have particularly long nose hairs, as I do, you retain the smell of the fart. Can that be true? I've never looked it up, but
well, wouldn't you be able to answer that? Like, did you retain the smell of farts?
I did. I would smell them like long. I do still.
Have you tried trimming your nose hairs and seeing if your level of retention is lower?
Too much work.
Too much work. You just gotta like
I trim them
like
when they're sticking out, like when they're visible. I clip them off. I don't go in there.
You don't have like an electric trimmer?
No,
like
I have
one of the add-ons
to buzz my head, but that's it.
Oh, okay.
That's it. Why do I need to do all of that? I'm comfortable. It's not bothering me. Unless it pokes out, then it looks unseemly and I get rid of it.
I feel like it impedes my breathing. Get those hairs out of there.
If I did think that, I would, but it doesn't.
I pluck them out when I feel that they're too long. I'll just yank one out.
I hate that. That skeeves the shit.
I don't like
out
plucking. I just get the little.
It's painful but satisfying. I have one of those, but I never use it.
It's a little nose dildo. Just pop it in there.
I have one
little nose butt plug.
I got one stray hair on my bald head that is stubborn. It's right in the middle. I look like alfalfa if I let it grow out.
Like
a girl I was dating was like, "Why don't you just rip it out?" She's like, "Let me do it. Let me do it." I was like, "No, it skeeves me so much."
Really? Even from your head? From the top of your head? Wow.
There's something about it that just drives me. Yeah. So I shave it, I clip it, or I shave it with the razor, but I will not rip it out. I can't.
Wow.
No. That's why there's one fucking follicle on my top of my head that works. That's the stupidest fucking thing. Like, just all or nothing. Let's stop fucking around.
One guy hanging on for dear life.
Yeah. Why can't they all be like that? I have a normal head of hair.
Yeah.
Have you considered one of those hair treatments?
Yeah, I've become comfortable with being bald. I kind of wear the hat now on the show as a meme at this point. I've done the show a couple of times with no hat on. It doesn't bother me, and I feel like the opposite sex they seem to be certain. I mean, it's not for everybody. Some women like a thick head of hair, but a wide portion of the female heterosexual community likes my bald head. So I have no problem with it. I have no problem when I look in the mirror with it, so I don't mind. But I would not go to the extreme. If it was, I'll be real with you, if it was easy to do, like if there was you could have hair tomorrow, I would do it. But it's not worth the massive expense that I would have to go.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck it. I'm okay. I'm good.
And have they come up with a technology that actually looks real yet? Or can you still instantly tell that the person's got plugs or a piece or whatever?
How would you know? That's the thing. That's what I think the conservative argument against, like, when they try to impugn like trans women is they go, well, they look like men. Well, how do you know? If they look like a woman, you wouldn't know. How would you be able to say it? So it's the same thing with that bald thing. Like, if it really looked good, you just think the guy has hair.
Yeah. Fair.
That actually reminded me of something. We're going on a lot of tangents today. But I was looking up my first choice for playing a song today was I wanted to play another song that came up for me in Spotify, not in Spotify. I don't remember where I even heard it. I think YouTube maybe, but it was by the same band that did Havana, the famous song from the show. But then I found another Purple Walk. I found another Purple Walk song that seemingly very problematic that I forgot about until just now. I remember it from the time. We may have mentioned it on the show, but it's the T word, like a slur for trans
This
people.
sounds familiar.
It's that word plus man, right? But it's not. But it's not about that. It's about a guy coming to fix your transmission.
Oh,
Your car breaks down, and he's
Okay.
the guy that drives up with his truck.
Uh-huh.
But I still feel like they're going for that. Like they're
Mhm.
trying to make you think of that word. So that's still
they probably don't
problematic.
play that one live anymore.
If they play at all. Do they play? don't think
I have
so.
no idea.
I check
You were
in
the
on
one that was like following their tour schedule.
That's not true. We went to one show, and
Yeah.
my ex-wife dragged me to that, and not dragged me. I wanted to go, but like she was the impetus of it.
He doesn't mention his band on New York One anymore.
Oh, I don't even listen and watch New York One anymore. But yeah, they probably broke up.
Sad.
It's a fun time though. Those late 2010s, the Perp Walk era.
Before Vince McMahon shit on anyone that we know of.
That we know, yeah.
Havana.
Good times.
Montana.
Guantanamo. You want Guantanamo?
Guantanamo.
Vince McMahon was doing some guano tana.
Oh, gross.
Such a powerful voice.
Guantanamo.
It's like a character from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
That's what she
All of
sounds like.
I wanted to do a little hair transplant. once
Oh,
in a while.
no.
Not gonna show.
My name's Stephen Temple.
No.
I'm an
Temple, get it?
engineer, and I'm 55 years of age. I'm not trying to stem the aging
That is a
process.
hard 55.
I'm just merely trying to
Need some
look my
shit.
age rather than
Fucking
make me look
lobotomized.
a lot older. Well, I think since I started losing my hair, it
I think it's more like
kind
the
of been on
lines
my
in his
mind.
face.
I'm not really that
Hair
type of
doesn't look
person,
that
but
bad.
I normally put everything towards my
I think his
children
hair
and
looks
family.
fine for a
But
50.
Yeah.
20 years of
I'd
working is
choke a man out for
toll.
that kind of
About 10
hair.
years ago,
It's
started
like
to
the least
notice it's a
old
gradual
thing about
recession
it.
here. Catching yourself in the mirror from the back.
I bet you this guy's been dancing
It's
a
not
jig
really
at the end of this
it's
one.
not a vanity thing. That sounds strange going for a transplant. But I just like to
to the
look my age
transplant.
rather than
It's not a vanity thing. I just like to look my age rather than people telling me I look older than I am. Isn't that the
Dude.
definition of a vanity thing?
Also, I feel like he would look ancient with a full head of hair.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's like the least old looking thing about him. Oh, I can't take that. I'm already mad.
it's going to be quite boring for me. I'm just sitting about and I'm looking at it like a
It's going to be boring until they
long
start
flight.
jamming needles in your fucking forehead,
big
bro.
break in between. So
Imagine instead of giving him the hair transplant, they just tattooed that line on his forehead and send him out into the world. Nanny, nanny, poo poo.
They just make him Umaga. Draw all over his face.
Before you transplant them in whatever way.
Perry Saturn. He kind of looks a little like Perry Saturn now.
Everybody looks so
3
bored in
hours
this.
after
Oh,
the surgery
What?
Oh,
all went very well. There was minimal pain and discomfort.
now he's
minimal
Steve-O.
pain.
So then an extended visit to the dentist. 3 months after the procedure. As you can see,
Looks so real.
got some growth in this area and
Do you?
in this area.
I think that's what they told him. He didn't have a mirror.
End of month 4.
You have to
Had
get
my
rid of
third
mirrors in your
haircut
house,
yesterday.
sir.
The guy did
That's the only
shears
way the hair will
and,
grow.
Scissors on the top. Lots of growth coming through now, as you can see from the side. Month 5 after the transplant.
Looks real, at least. It
Very
doesn't-
pleased
yeah.
with the outcome. 7 months since the
He
transplant.
still looks old, though. That's
yeah.
Things continue to go well.
bags under there. Can you get rid of the bags?
As you can see,
Is this
the
man capable
hairline
of smiling?
at the front?
Yeah, you got
is
hair
very
now,
smiling.
dipshit.
That's the
The
problem.
process will take 18 months in total, but 7 months in, very pleased.
Ah!
Ugh.
We've created a landing strip for Vince McMahon's defecation. Thanks. Yeah,
Not worth
I
it.
learned so much.
Again, like I said, if there was some cream you could put on your hair to fucking, and then you got hair, I'm in. I'd do it.
Rob, you ever
Not
have
going.
cream in your hair? No
comment.
Rob?
Decline to comment.
Sorry.
He legitimately didn't hear you. Wow. I
Jesus
thought he was
Christ.
ignoring you.
He's listening to another podcast.
I was queuing something else up. What's up?
Mark Maron.
Have you ever had cream in your hair?
No. I mean, I've had hair cream in my hair.
Pause there.
What were you queuing up?
Dancer. Sorry, Rob.
I
You have had cream in your hair.
I've seen videos on TikTok where they go to like Turkey or whatever, and
I heard
so
about this
wild.
with Turkey, but what is it? The same procedure? They just do it better, or is it something else?
Yeah, I think it's just cheaper. It's
Oh.
significantly cheaper there.
But you still have to fly to fucking Turkey.
Yeah,
That's
it still
expensive.
ends up being cheaper. That's how cheap it is.
Some good kebabs.
They put doner sauce on your head.
I'll take some of
Oh.
that.
Anyway,
Susan.
so no for the hand transplant.
I'm sorry. Can we take a pause and because you remind me of John Sterling? Did you see when he got hit with a baseball?
That was what, last year, 2 years
Did we
ago?
play that? I
I
can't.
think we
remember.
did.
I just saw it again and it reminded me of it. He just goes, "Ow! Ow! Ow!"
And then he finishes the call. He's still working. That guy is like in his mid 80s by now, isn't he?
Yeah, or 90 even maybe. I'm not sure.
The
He's
Yankees
old.
radio announcer. 85.
And he's happy as fuck. He's not worried about his hairline.
Well, he's got a good one. 80
Well,
fucking
it's
five.
receding, but for
He's
85,
probably been to
it's
Turkey.
great. What?
He probably went to Turkey
Yeah.
in the off season.
Did you guys ever see Olam Shavasisi? It's like a. All right, they made it's this Turkish film where they made a shot-for-shot remake of Star Wars for some reason in Turkish.
What? No.
But
No.
for like 90 cents per scene. It went viral on the internet like 10 years ago. Or so.
Okay.
But it's if you Google Turkish Star Wars.
Is there a Chewbacca?
I don't remember. I watched it back then when it was viral, so I don't remember any details about it.
Wow.
But it's horrible. It's hilariously horrible. I would say we should do a Patreon on it, but it's like, I feel like that was done by a million podcasts back then, But if you watch it, you think we should do it, I'd definitely do it.
Another post. How long is it? That's the question.
It's about the length of Star Wars, I feel like. It's not really shot for shot. It's like scene for scene, and they do certain things differently because they don't have any money. But it's very funny. And I think they also like wholesale just stole shots from Star Wars for like whenever none of the characters are on the screen, they just use space.
Did they get sued?
I
seems
I
illegal,
don't
right?
think so. I don't think so because like there was no money in it. But I don't know. Maybe they got sued. But it's like old. It's like from when Star Wars was out. I think.
Wow.
I don't think it was even on anyone's radar. Like there was no internet then. Whatever.
Interesting.
I don't know the details.
Do they keep the names? Like, are the character names all the same? Or
No,
do
they have
change
like
them?
I think they have like Turkish names. And stuff.
Okay.
You can correct me if I'm wrong. Someone in the chat, but they all gave them like Turkish names. Stuff.
Okay. Plausible deniability.
Yeah.
Maybe some guy in Turkey just happened to have the same idea.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all had that Star Wars idea where someone was like, "No, dude, that's Star Wars," and then you're like, "Ah." I guess I should drop it. Probably get sued. I hate when that happens.
When was the last time you
Anyway.
got sued, Rob?
Last time I got sued? It's been a few years. But it's all right.
Oh, I got
Settled
the
down.
name wrong, by the way. Olam Savasisi is like it's like a ninja warrior movie made by the same people, but the Turkish Star Wars has a different name. So sorry for the misinformation.
I feel like you would have gotten away with that one if you just let it go.
I like to be accurate.
ZP guitarist with a little legal note saying they could sue, but it's an American copyright law versus a Turkish law, so they can't enforce it unless Turkish courts get involved.
Well, if it was today, I bet you that Disney would put the hammer down.
Oh
bring
my
the
God.
They'd find a way.
U.S. legal
They would
system
own
side with
Nike by
Disney. Yeah. Be the 51st state.
now.
This has been a fun show, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Lots of different directions we've gone in.
And by the way, I do the Borat voice, and we always joke about my wife. Borat no longer has a wife.
Oh, what a shame.
Sacha
Sid-
Baron Cohen and Isla Fisher announced they're divorcing.
I think, Sid, you mentioned this in the Discord. It might have been you or someone else, but was that due to the revelations by Rebel
Yeah.
Wilson?
I was wondering.
Hope
Like,
so.
did Isla Fisher all along think that Sacha Baron Cohen was a totally normal, well-adjusted guy, and then this book comes out? She's like, "Wait a minute, you're a fucking weirdo."
Yeah, you got to be, but you know, I mean, you're buying into someone being a weirdo, but then if they're sexually harassing people and stuff, like it's different, you know.
But was it sexual harassment or was it just like hazing that was shitty and weird? I couldn't really tell. I didn't fully delve into the accusations.
I think it was sexually tinged hazing, though.
Mm.
If it was hazing, if we accept that, I mean, I think it was
Still shitty either way.
yeah, but not Vince McMahon shitty.
No, oh my God. Yeah, that was if they did a sequel to that movie. What was it? The Brothers Grimsby? Was that the name of it?
Oh yeah, I never saw
Something?
that.
Never saw that either.
I have no desire to see it.
That's like the thing when allegations like this come out and it's from a movie that was horrible and nobody cared about. It's like, wow, all that trauma from something that was not worth the trouble, even if there wasn't trauma involved with it. Like for that movie, people had to go through that.
I saw the trailer for that and I was checked out. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck this. I was excited because I liked Sacha Baron Cohen, but like, oh, let's see what he's doing now, and then just look like so shitty.
He makes some weird choices.
I just saw him in Hugo. You guys ever see that?
No.
That's a Martin Scorsese. For some reason, Martin Scorsese directed a children's movie.
That seems.
Yeah.
Is it lighthearted or is it fucking weird and grim?
It's both. It's like lighthearted but sad and depressing and also
Okay.
uplifting. It's like a kid. He's like orphaned and he lives in a French train station.
Is it live action or animated?
Live action, but it's
Okay.
got elements of animation, like he's building this robot because his father was building this robot when he found a robot and was trying to make the robot work. This in the 1910s or something.
Is Sacha Baron Cohen the star? Or he's just
No.
one of the. Okay.
He has a pretty big role, but he's a supporting character. He's like the cop, the security guard in the train station, and he's like abusive and he's like a dickhead, but he has an arc, like he becomes a nice guy at the end or whatever.
Okay.
It wasn't a terrible movie, but it's like, why is Martin Scorsese directing this? It's so against type.
I mean, the last few
challenge.
dramatic movies of his that I've seen were not great either, so maybe he needs
Yeah.
to do something else.
This is a while ago. I think it was 2011 that movie came out.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, I definitely did
Well,
not
what
see
Martin Scorsese should do is look up our Spotify playlist.
Oh.
RIP Livecast music break every week. We each add a song. We drop it in. There's over 43 hours of music for you to enjoy. All top picks. And this week, I popped in a little songy song from a band that I really enjoy, Entheos.
that. Didn't we have the lead singer on the show?
Yes.
Cheney?
Yes. She's
Yeah.
lovely. She has a guttural scream. Her voice sounds very wicked. It's from one of the nicest young ladies you
Wicked.
will encounter.
Like the musical?
She has-
Wicked? She sounds like
No,
she's
like
in
it's-
Wicked?
No, it sounds evil and wicked.
Okay.
But they have a
Do
new
an
song
impression
out.
of it.
And then
Sing one of the lyrics.
I can't. It's something like this. It's something like that.
Sounds better than that. Jeez.
All right. Of course. See, Aaron agrees with me. Aaron says Entheos is my favorite right now. Agreed.
I like the qualification of right now, meaning it's not going to last, but this week.
No,
it's
just
the
like
best.
the biggest jam of the moment. That's my.
What would
pick.
be the
do you think,
second?
Sid?
What would be your second biggest jam of the moment, Rob? If you had to pick one.
My
New
second thing
Beyonce?
is jam of the moment.
Yes.
I've
Smuckers.
actually been kind of having a Ministry moment. I've been having a Ministry
Oh.
moment.
Old Ministry, recent
Yeah,
Ministry.
just one fix. I actually went back and listened to their first album, which sounds nothing like Ministry.
It's more
kind
dancey,
of a
right?
new wave album. Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's actually some bangers on there. It's way better than I thought it would be.
Al Jorgensen.
Yeah. What's the other guy's name? Something Baker.
Hmm.
Steve
I
Baker,
don't know.
Phil Baker.
Tom
Sid,
Baker.
what do you pick?
Who? Oh.
Hold on, I got to look up the other guy
Candlestick
from
Maker?
Ministry's name.
Shlomo China.
Yeah, I'll figure
Shlomo.
it out.
SHOMO.
I picked a song by Built to Spill. They're touring soon on the 30th anniversary of one of their albums, which seems like 50% of the tours nowadays are just anniversary tours for old albums. Am I crazy? Does it feel like when did this start being like such a common thing? Because I feel like when
it's
I
been
was
like a
just
decade
starting to
now.
go to shows, this was not a thing at all. And now it's like
It was
the
very
only
recent.
thing.
You know what? It started with after streaming, I would say. Because people would fall in love with these older albums, or bands would notice that only one album of theirs in particular is being played back. And so then they would do a tour around that whole album, and blah, 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 it became a thing.
It's lame. And so I did not pick a song off of that Built to Spill album. I picked a song off of my favorite Built to Spill album. And the song is called I Would Hurt a Fly. It's very good. And they're one of the only like sort of jammier indie rock bands that I was into. And yeah, they're quite good. Very good guitar playing. They look like I could beat them all up. It's just good stuff. Darren, what was your pick?
First, I want to say Vince McMahon was built to spill.
Oh, gross.
I just recently had to. I love this movie, but I watched Little Shop of Horrors, inside and out, backwards and forwards. I had to write a paper on it. Big, extensive paper dissecting this movie. Love this movie. As you know, the great Rick Moranis, Ellen Green, Vincent Gardenia, and so many other great stars. Steve Martin is in it. But the song I played was Mean Green Mother from Outer Space, which is the climactic number. That's all the action happens during this song. And the plant comes to life. Plant is played by Levi Stubbs of the Four Tops, great voice. And also Saida Garrett, I did not know, is a backup singer on this, who I love, Saida Garrett. So she's in that. Great song, great movie. I feel like my brain is bulging with Little Shop of Horrors right now. I basically watched every scene probably 30 times, backwards and forwards. So,
Give us a little bit of the title track.
Of the title track for Little Shop. Yeah. Little Shop of Horrors is the Little Shop of Horrors. They'll call the cop. You never stop the terror. Little Shop of Horrors. Oh no. Shingling, what a crazy thing to be happening. Look out. Is that enough?
Yeah.
I think next month I'm going to be seeing that on Broadway.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't heard about like any feedback from how that show is compared to the movie, but
I've heard it's good. And I think one of the stars is going to be one of our favorites from RuPaul's Drag Race, Jinx Monsoon. Will be
the star
performing.
being which
I think she's
role?
playing Audrey.
Oh, okay, cool.
The Audrey the woman, not the plant.
Who plays the plant? Oh, is it Mark Hamill? Oh no, Mark Hamill played the plant in the movie remake. Which I heard was horrible, but I didn't see it. I heard they basically remade the movie in a darker tone. Like it's still a comedy, obviously, but like they emphasized the gore and the sci-fi element more than the comedy, which I think is a big mistake, but I didn't see the movie. But apparently it's got a lot of cameos too, like Adam Sandler and stuff like that. The original had a bunch of cameos. Christopher Guest is in it for like a few minutes and a few other people. Bill Murray plays the masochistic dentist patient that wants to get his teeth drilled over and over.
Classic. Steve Martin. Not a cameo, but just a legendary performance from him.
Oh, amazing.
By the way, Paul Barker is the Ministry guy I was thinking of, not Baker. Barker.
And what does RIP stand for this week, Sid?
RIP is for Joe Flaherty, who passed away from SCTV and Freaks and Geeks. Just a great comedic character actor. So RIP to him. He's a delightful man.
Pat Zachary, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Former Met pitcher.
Traded for Tom Seaver.
Yeah. Not his fault.
Yeah, not at all.
And
Rob,
course,
do you have
if
anyone who
would
died
like
that you
to-
care about?
Nope.
Did you kill anyone in BJJ with a chokehold?
Nope.
Well, shirtless.
That's why he ripped his shirt off.
shirtless.
Ah!
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
always wearing a shirt.
It was covered in blood.
Post-murder rage spasm.
You guys are so supportive. Thank you.
I feel like that's the support.
It is. It's not like we're saying you're the one who got murdered.
Yeah.
I'm saying thank you.
Yeah.
Like turning into Will Ferrell in that SNL sketch in the newsroom where they just start going into Lord of the Flies. And just
I thought you were going to say the one where he sucks his own dick.
What? What's that?
Isn't there a sketch where they're like in a yoga class and he like finally bends over enough that he could suck his own dick?
I don't know that one. How'd they show that? What
He's just like tucked into his gi or his robe or whatever, and like all the he doesn't say sucking his own dick. It's just I think it was Will Ferrell. Rob, help me out. It was like the last sketch before the end of the episode kind of thing.
I know what I'm Googling after this show.
Well, if you need a little more live cast in your life, there's always our Patreon, patreon.com/RIP Livecast. $5 a month gets you access to 2 bonus episodes every month. And we got so much fun stuff. Over 4 years of bonus episodes, over 50 episodes, a whole year's worth. Watch one a week. We have watch-alongs. We have roundtable discussions. We have listen-alongs. We have our own Hall of Fame where we induct legendary moments and characters. And every week, Sid writes a TV column about what television programs he's watching and which ones you should be watching.
Yeah.
And our most recent watch-along was just posted at the top of the month. Cosmo, Queen of Melrose, we love him. And he's basically our new favorite character. He's in the banner now. He's in the banner. As you could see here. That's how much we love Cosmo. And
There's another new addition there too. You want to reveal that? Point that out. 2 more.
Well, there's 2 more. That's right. There is Eric Adams right by the R, and right next
Right
to Eric
by
Adams.
the Holojet.
Which one is?
New York is the Holojets of America.
Yeah. Which one is more repulsive? The Jets or Eric?
I think it's a
And,
perfect pairing.
we have had Ozzy in the banner for quite a while, and I felt it was unfair because Ozzy has almost become a sideshow character to the main character of his story, Sharon Osbourne. So she gets the upgrade to the banner.
I'm sure she always saw it that way, but it's great that now we've caught up to her vision.
And I also want to say, I never noticed this before, but if you look at Mike Francesor's line of sight, he's looking right at Douglas Levison like, what the fuck is that? Or at the moral barometer. One or the other.
It's true. So we have a whole 1-hour watch along about Cosmo, Queen of Melrose. We learn all about him, how he grew up in New York, his crackhead parents, growing up in Harlem, his twin brother. A lot of crazy revelations. It was a very fun watch along. You could watch that. We have a watch along of No Holds Barred, starring Hulk Hogan, getting you in the WrestleMania season, and just a bunch of bonus episodes where we go through links that might feel a little too explicit for our YouTube show. So check us out, patreon.com/RIP Livecast. That's $5 a month. $10. Get to be a top Livecast fan. Shout out at the end of the show, which is right now. How we doing the shout outs? Maybe Darren sings it to the tune of Little Shop of Horrors.
I don't know. I think I whiffed on that last one, but
I'll do it. Eric, Benjamin, and Dan are Mindy Mayers. Kippa, Suits, Lando Danks, LaCroix, Curry, and Scotty H. Aaron, Douglas, who are you? Levison, Gender and Randy. Blat, 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 blat.
Very good.
There we go. I had it in my head and I executed. Folks, thanks for listening. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll be back next week. Until then, we love you. We kiss you. Bye-bye.
See ya.